We've had this conversation, and you seem to agree with me. But when there's complications, you withdraw and leave me to be. When there's a problem, you become like a wall. And every time I trip, it's a free fall. Why don't you help me the way I help you? You don't have to save me, just be my parachute. When I'm feeling down, you're just not there, making sure I'm okay. Why don't you help me the way I help you? You're such a sensitive guy. When your friends are hurting, you make sure to stick around. But when it comes to me, you don't wanna know. Yeah, every time I trip.
Morning guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be tackling a mobile home makeover. Today we are going to be tackling my front and back door. I have been waiting and waiting forever to paint this door. As you guys can see, our front door is this, it's a really pretty like almost red maroon color, but honestly it's just not mine or my husband's style. It was like this when we purchased our home, and I've been wanting to paint this door forever and ever, and my husband and I finally decided on a shade of blue. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you're trying to pick out paint, trust me, it is not easy to agree with your spouse. So I was on like a lighter colored blue option, and my husband always leaned towards like a super dark sapphire blue. We finally met in the middle, and here we are. So we had a storm, I want to say about a year and a half ago, and it was nasty. It was horrible rain, and it went on for like a week, and we ended up having a tiny leak under our door. And so we ended up putting some things over the door to protect our carpet and everything in the house. And when we ripped off the tape, it completely ruined the finish of the door. And it's just one of those things that like you walk in the door all the time, but you just don't make the time to do it. And so we were like, you know what, we'll refinish the door when we find the paint. Well, here we are a year later. So I'm going to go ahead and sand this. And it was a lot of like tape residue from duct tape and just, you know, trying to get something on the door. So it took a while. I actually had an old, I think it's like a hand sander. I probably even picked it up from Dollar Tree, and it did a pretty good job, but I was trying to get a lot of the tape, like the sticky stuff off of the door. I used Goo Gone. Use Goo Gone and make sure you like open your doors or ventilate the area if you're using it in your house. It smells wretched. It smells horrible. But the fact that I did it outside, it wasn't that bad. Here's the color. I was super nervous when I opened the paint can. I was like, oh my gosh, it's like electric blue. It's gonna look absolutely insane. And then the paint was super chunky, and I was just like, this is not gonna work. So I decided to start on the back door first, because I'm like, well, if we hate it, no one's ever gonna see it. It's just gonna be the back door. And I'm not gonna lie, I instantly had regret. I was like, wow, this looks absolutely horrible. And it was one of those things where I just had to trust the process. And I was like, okay, Rebecca, at least get through maybe 2 coats. And then if we absolutely hate it, we'll pick another color for the front door. I actually am looking at this footage. I forgot to sand the bottom of this door. The sander worked amazingly, by the way. If you are going to be painting the door, I think this is the first color to add to the back door. So it wasn't really too much trouble. It went on pretty smooth. But if you're painting over an existing color, all of the videos I've watched before, lightly sand your surface and then your paint will have like no problem sticking at all. So I'm gonna put some music. There's a lot of me painting, but I just want this video to be a reminder that something super tiny, just like a can of paint, can go a long way and have a really dramatic impact. It was something that we needed to get done, but it was also just nice to kind of put a little different personality into the front of our house and to the back. Definitely tape off your surfaces. I thought I was good on the back door, and obviously I had so much touch up to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get the first paint coat on, and then I will start laying it on a little bit thicker later in the day. And also to mention, if you're new here, I absolutely adore Dollar Tree. I used a Dollar Tree foam roller and Dollar Tree, honestly, you get like a whole paint kit for like $1 and they work so well. I only had to use 2 different rollers and I had no problems. It goes on pretty thin, but I was doing the first coat on this door super thin anyways. I just wanted to see what the color was going to eventually dry like. So if that gives you any tips, if you're doing a paint project, don't forget to check Dollar Tree, because honestly some of their products are just as good as what you would purchase with like Lowe's or Home Depot. I would not recommend their paintbrushes though. Those are something I would steer clear of. Okay, so when I got to, I think this is the second coat. I couldn't really know, it's still the first coat. I couldn't decide. I was like, this is gonna be a nightmare to paint on like inside the lines where the glass is. And I'm like, well, I even asked my husband and he came outside. He's like, no, it needs to be the same color because it's gonna look super funky. And so I was like, okay, let me tape this off. And you guys, it took me like 25 minutes to tape off the glass. Take your time, because I definitely had to go back and do so many little like touch-up quarters. Take your time when you're taping off. And I actually had to run to the store and grab more tape because I think I ran out. Make sure you have it on hand. It's the worst thing when you're trying to do like a DIY project and you don't have everything you need on hand. So I did the inside of the door, and then I kind of had to leave the door open for a few hours, and we were chasing flies out of the house. There were so many flies that kept coming in the house. It's that time of year where you're like trying to chase the heat. If you're doing something, you're like, okay, it needs to be done before like noon or 1, because after that the day is just so warm outside and then you end up baking in the sun. I think this is coat number 2, and then I start getting into painting all of the little cross areas where the windows are. I absolutely adored it. Once I got to like the second or third coat, we ended up needing 4 coats on the front and the back door, and every coat, I promise, it just dried flatter and it looked so good. So I'm super happy with the color. But if you do end up picking like a color for your walls or for your doors, always get a sample size. I don't know why me and my husband didn't get a sample size. We get sample paint all the time, and I swatch it like behind furniture so that like if we absolutely hate it, I can just slide the furniture back and no one ever knows. But I think we were so excited that we found the color we agreed on. We're just like, okay, we're gonna do it. So Sample sizes I think are pretty inexpensive anyways, and it's great to have on hand of your actual color that you paint your walls in case you have to do touch up of like nail holes. I have so many of those to do.
Can't find a time where I can tell ya what I feel now. Been biting my tongue for a while. The words just wanna come out. I'm too afraid to be rejected. It's so expected. I feel like I'm out of my mind, but I know I can't deny you. I am so alienated. Sitting on planet X. I'm becoming the person I've hated. Wonder what will happen next. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like a charge around us that just feels right. Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes. Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. You send me right out into space. Space, right into space. I'm not the kind of person who is sentimental, but this thing is making me soft, giving into my damn heart. It feels like I am losing my grip, going crazy, 'cause this doesn't make any sense. You're broken down all my defenses. No way back to the old me. When I'm stuck here on planet X, I'll become the person I've hated. Wonder what will happen next. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like a charge around us that just feels right. Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes. Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. You send me right out into space. Space, right into space. My head tells me to stop, but there is nothing I can do now. When I'm with you, I lose myself. I feel good. Oh, yeah, I don't know why. It's like a charge around us that just feels right. Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes. Every time you touch me, babe, you send me right out into space. You send me right out into space. Space, right into space. Yeah, I don't know why. It's like a charge around us that just feels right. Can't get my head around it. I can never hit the brakes.
Have any tricks for painting a door like this with all of these little like nooks and crannies? I know it's not going to be perfect, but I was so excited to take the tape off, and then I took the tape off and I'm like, wow, there's so many places that I painted on the glass, and then there's so many like little areas that I just couldn't get into. I didn't have the right brush, and that's 100% my fault, but I actually ended up going into our like arts and crafts section in our closet, and I just grabbed one of my kids' paintbrushes, and honestly it worked so well because it was so tiny and it was fine point. So everything and anything can be fixed. Don't stress yourself out about the smallest details. If this was me probably like 5 or 6 years ago prior to kids, I probably would have been so upset about how horrendous of a job I did with all of these little areas that I missed. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta go with it and be a little bit flexible. So that's what we're doing here. So once I was done sanding, I wiped down the door just to make sure that it was clean and clear of all of the debris. And I made sure that the weather was pretty sunny. It wasn't a super windy day. We've had some really great weather, but like the wind is blowing. And you can see it's blowing now, but it wasn't so bad. And I was just so anxious to get the door painted. I was like, nope, it's going to happen today. Whether the wind is blowing or not, we're going to paint the door. So I had eagerly been waiting for like 3 days, you guys, and there was so much flying around. So we finally had a pretty chill day. It wasn't super windy, and I just started going to town. I painted the door pretty early, the first coat, and I was honestly so scared because I'm like, this can go either really great or really bad. I think I was maybe not even halfway into the can of paint. So I'm like, either this is gonna cover the red really well or we're gonna have to buy a whole nother can of paint. I didn't even dent like 3/4 of the can, so I'm super excited if we have to do any touch-ups. It'll be pretty nice. I did go around the little like door knocker with the same paintbrush that I did the touch-up spots on the back door with, and then I ended up doing that with the key, the doorknob, and then like the key, the deadbolt area. So it was a little tricky, but definitely something that I'll learn. I don't know if this is going to be the color forever, but I am a little excited that now I know how to paint a door. Highly, highly recommend doing any of like the little wonky areas, like all of these little lines. I just pushed the paint in there and I started brushing it originally and it just was like brushing on like water. And then I started laying it on thick, and as soon as I did it, it was great. It was like magic. I was like, this is wonderful. I only needed one coat, and touch-ups were super, super minimal. My son was actually catching a cricket, so you'll see him come up to me and show me the cricket in a minute. They've been loving catching crickets. Let me know if you're enjoying your summer. Are you outside with your kiddos? Are you staying inside because of allergies? Are you doing anything this weekend? I know there's so much going on. It's like baseball's coming to an end and then everybody's moving on into another sport and summer's coming. I'm just super excited to have a little bit of a break. And we do homeschool. I homeschool full time. I have a 5 and 3-year-old. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, and we kind of slow down a little bit for the summer, but we do homeschool year round, so we just go a little bit lighter in the summer. So it's kind of nice because I think that we spend a lot more time outside. We're outside most of the afternoon, and my boys absolutely adore it.
You said that you needed me like a cargo, you will carry me. I just hope you know my depth.
Okay, so this is several days later. I was taking off the tape. Honestly, life happens, and I forgot to take the tape off the outside of the door for like 2 days. And I don't know why I've never done this. I always used to put like the command hooks from Dollar Tree or Target, whatever ones I could find on sale on these lights, and then the glue eventually. Throughout the year, I always hang something up here, like for the season. If it doesn't blow away in the wind, and I'll tell you, I had the hardest time with these flags the last week and a half, so they eventually just end up flying down on the ground. But they're so cute when I put them up. It's almost 4th of July and Memorial Day, so we saw these at Dollar Tree and my sons, and I thought they were super cute. I used these, you can see the glue at the top. I have to get that off of the light at some point, but that's for another day. I have these little hooks. I don't know, they're like the little suction cups you put the little window things that your kids paint with, like water paint. They're so cute. We bought a kit of them. I had so many, and I'm like, why have I never thought about this? It's great. It's not going to damage the lights. So I hung those up. I had some spare ribbon in my craft drawer, and I was like, this is a little bit on the same side as far as the red and the flag. And then I found these door banners, and I hung those outside, and I was like, this is so cute. This is going to be great for Memorial Day, and then I can take them down and put them back up for 4th of July. I have a bunch of stars that I'll hang from there as well. And you guys, they're so cute, but they do not stay. So if you buy these, or if you've bought something like this from Dollar Tree, please let me know how you get it to stay, because I tried Scotch tape, I tried duct tape, I tried packing tape. I've tried everything, and they won't stay. And there's quite a few times I've Scotch taped things to the lights, and they're totally fine. But these flags gave me a run for my money. At one point, my husband was like, these are hitting the window. There's grommets on the bottom, but I refuse to drill into the wall because I'm pretty sure I'll mess that up somehow. So here's how the door turned out. Honestly, I feel like against the white little casing around the door and the white siding, I feel like it just pops more. It's a little bit more brighter, and it's just a little bit more us. It's just the color, but it makes such a big difference on our home. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you hung out with me the entire time, you're a trooper. I appreciate you hanging out for this video. Let me know if you like the color or if you like the before. It definitely had to grow on me for a few days, but the more that I look at it, the more I love it. I'm not a professional, so this is definitely my first time painting the door. So there are some things that I've learned and things that I'll take with me the next time we paint a door or something like that. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, and don't forget to subscribe if you have not already. Give this video a thumbs up and say hello down below.